So yeah, welcome to the port. We're here, man. We're about to import some knowledge, export it.
So what was the Because I guess from the beginning to like us learning more about each other today, what was the part that had made you want to have me pull up and do this? Because is there a specific, like I guess, type of person or thing that you want to bring to this platform?
I mean, when I met you, it was at an open mic, and I just sat right next to you, and I told you a little bit about what I was doing. You told me a little bit about what you were doing, and your energy was like calm and confident. Yeah. So I was like, man, definitely. And then you told me all the things that you did, and you were welcoming. I was like, yeah, I'll help out. I'll help out. Like usually, people get to. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. People get to a point where they want to like, yeah, you can only reach me like if you put this down. They want to charge you up front, but to me, I'm like, I want to find people I can make things happen and the money comes in after. So at the same time, I started following you on Instagram and all the things that you were doing. Your performance was great too at Slick Talk. That's where we met. And you started from the back of the stage. That's confidence. You didn't start
on up, right?
You didn't walk right into the stage like everyone else. I'm still like getting my stage presence. So so I actually look up to all that, like so I can learn from it.
I appreciate you mentioning that because all of those things that you mentioned, from being approachable to being intentional, and then being present. All of that stuff is what I work on.
Very, 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 very hard. So now that I'm in a position where people, I can use now that I have the opportunity available to show people and they can recognize those things in me. That's what I'm super excited about. Because you mentioned something that I actually was going through today, where it's like I want to get the work done. Like I want to be with people who are passionate about like wanting to put some effort and get some work done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't remove the aspect of the money, because I'm always I'm all about ownership. So if you don't buy the thing that you want to use, then you owe somebody for it.
Yeah.
That's the math behind it. So, whether the money comes before or after,
exactly.
There's an attitude and mentality of being earnest and being like passionate about doing the thing. Like, so I'm excited that that's where you're at on your journey too, because that's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, because at one point, again, like this is Terrence.
Yes, sir.
TJ,
no, Terrence is beautiful. Like I go by both, but I prefer now Terrence. Yeah, Terrence Harris.
Like right now, I tell people, my name is Octavio, but my Instagram is Optimus Prime, and once you get a handle, like you don't want to change it, and especially when it's a good one.
Yep.
It's kind of like having a domain.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because everyone wants to like grab that like nice like handle that easy to memorize. So I tell people you can call me Optimus Prime as well, but Octavio is my name. Again,
with an O at the end, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, because there's Octavia as well.
That's why I was like that when I was at the front at the thing. I was like, I took a couple Spanish classes. This masculine is O, so I'm gonna go with Octavio.
Exactly. Yeah, people misspell it and it happens, but whatever, man. Like for me, like I realized that you can't really do like big projects on your own. Like you said, like you have to start outsourcing, and at the same time, you don't want to outsource to someone like far away. You want to like find people in your circle around you. So I told you like I want to make film and like actually like make a epic film. So I got a few short films in mind. I'm like, damn, I need actors. I need like someone behind the camera, all this shit. So I was like, I need to find a group of people that wants to like basically help each other on your projects, because I bet you got a lot of stuff that you want to work on that want to get done.
That's why I'm just in my head meditating how I even want to present all this information, because we could do this 100 times and I'd still have more to tell you. So like me giving an introduction into your platform, I'm like premeditating what I want to introduce today. You know what I mean? So that it's something that keeps everybody interested and captivated and want to come back and hear more.
So what do you wanna start exporting into? Like since you
Yeah,
had the
let's
port.
talk that talk. Right. What are we exporting today? Right. So
Yeah.
today, because I'm a Gemini, and this May 22nd, Gemini season just started yesterday, right?
I'm a Gemini too, bro.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's all about dropping Gemini gems for me because I'm a master communicator and I'm a master like thinker. That's our governing skill
Yeah.
in our planetary alignment. So I think and I communicate at a very high level. So
Yeah.
my thing is every time I communicate, people always say like, man, I never thought of that. And every time that I think, people, and I'll express it, people are like, I never even thought of that either. Like, you know what I mean? I never was going to say it and I was never going to do it. So the 4 things that I always come into like dropping Gemini gems first with is like how to sell.
How to sell.
Yeah, how to sell stuff, because that's my background. Like I started off, that was my first skill before bouncing a basketball. After bouncing a basketball, I started making sales outside because I used to sell drugs when I was little. So it's like,
Yeah. Okay.
I was introduced to the streets early, and then that background of learning how to sell stuff, it transferred into me being an artist later and an entrepreneur more legitimately.
Dope sells itself, to say,
You know what I
right?
mean?
It's like you don't see any ad campaigns for weed or for cocaine. Like it's just
People want it.
people want it, but then like you gotta learn if you're like out there pushing it, like you gotta be like to survive without ad campaigns, without marketing. Like you gotta be real good. You gotta have like a great, logistics, everything going, and so that's a good way to start how to sell, because selling, it's one way to say it, but you can selling is like how to present yourself, right? And going on stage, like sometimes you like people are shy, or you fill in your shoes completely. You know what I mean? That's what I'm learning. Like my first open mic, ever since I moved here like 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, it was all new to me. Like open mics, I didn't know much about them. I came from Indianapolis, so there wasn't much going on over there like this. Philly
In general,
got a lot going on, a lot of communities, poetry, music, brands, as in like clothing brands, like fashion designers, like artistries,
All
like
over the place,
all over
right?
the place. Yeah, so I'm like, I always been into poetry, and I never thought about performing. I wish I would. So I was like, this is the opportunity. I'm starting to go down my bucket list,
And when you were just talking about open mics, right, and presenting yourself, that's the first thing that I teach about selling, right? Like the best way to start building up your platform is generating leads, right? So with those open mics, those are just great opportunities for you to generate more leads on who you're going to sell to, because the art of selling isn't like, I got to convince you, here are all the benefits of my product. Like that makes you literally want to run away from someone. If the guy who you walk past in Philly, they'd be like, loud out, I got that gas. It's like, man, I don't want to talk to you, bro. So it's like the whole point is like when you generate leads, the leads we want to generate, and this is high level stuff. Like I promise you're not gonna get this from nobody else, because everybody else trying to sell you something. My brand is teaching you how to make your art a business. So the more people I can make money off their art, that's what makes me more credible. So that's why I'm giving this information, unlike most people. So like generating leads looks like becoming more findable, right? Not trying to get prospects. Everybody's like, how do I find prospects? Where's my audience? But you said something important.
Yeah.
It's about presenting yourself in a way where people who are looking for what you already have can see that you have it. So then they just want to come right to you and get it. So like when I go into an open mic, the first thing I'm selling is I perform, right? Like, and I don't have to say that. I don't have to walk up to you now and say, I'm a performer.
Right.
Like I literally put myself in an environment where people want to find performers. So that's number one. Generating leads is not, let me print out all these fucking flyers and pass them to random strangers or spend up all my money on Facebook ads to people who I don't know want what I'm selling. It's like, well, why wouldn't I put myself in an environment where people are already consuming what I am?
Exactly. And And then once you're here, then that's where the selling part begins.
That's where it begins, right? We just generating leads, right? That's just where it begins, exactly. Right.
And from like, and how do you like? That's interesting how you relate. Because as an artist, you don't really think about the business side or the generating leads, but how are you doing it? Like, are you like, look at me, or are you like
nobody wants to talk to that person? Like, that person seems weird.
Yeah,
that's the weirdest person in the room. The person who's looking for attention. Nah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
especially if you're not being true to yourself, you know.
At that point, right?
Yeah, but I like you. Like, part of it is like confidence, and you're coming out. Like, how do you build that, or like, do you think you always had that, or
nah, man? I'm terribly insecure. Right?
How do you work through all that? Like,
it goes back to my upbringing. Like, when I was in an environment where I had to survive, it brings out the tendencies and the habits that I need. So it's like a switch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I had to learn how to contain the switch, because when I was in that environment where people trying to take my life, they trying to take my money, they trying to take my dignity, right? You have to wear a constant demeanor of aggression or like, don't fuck with me, because at any moment people going to try and check you. So like, once I got out of that environment, I had to turn that demeanor off, because I was wearing that demeanor more than my own real personality. So now, like, after being out of the trenches for so long, I've been able to like gain experiences that allow me to get into my actual confidence. So I initially was insecure. I'm like, please don't take my money. Please don't take my life. And then so it's like, now that I recognize that that's where I was coming from, something as simple as doing this, it feels like a lot more genuine and organic, because I'm talking about what's really there. So even if I'm not always getting all the points, or I forget my Instagram handle, or it's nothing scripted. Like, this is a real moment to me. So that's where the confidence comes from, because I'm making real friendships, I'm making real moves and opportunities. So it feels good. You know what I mean? That's where the confidence comes from. It's just like, then I look back at it and I'll be like, I liked that movement. I want to continue to do that. Or if something make me feel uncomfortable, like right now, everybody busting me up on Instagram. Shouts out to y'all, man. Like, but it's like, it's just stuff like that. It makes me feel good, so it make me want to keep doing it.
Exactly. I mean, you're doing a good job at it for sure. Like, and it's it's new to me, so I'm kind of like, as a Gemini, I don't know if we relate to like everything that you're saying. Like, you say you were insecure, but at the same time, like, you look back at all your, like, you put yourself out there and like basically saying fuck it, like that switch, right?
Yeah, that switch.
And that's what I'm beginning to realize that. That's what I told for my first performance. I started giving advice, like, because I started looking back at like what I should have done better. And one thing is soak it all in. Basically, don't be afraid of the spotlight. I always been the guy that didn't want the spotlight.
Don't be afraid of that spotlight, right?
Like, let the spotlight hit you. Know what I mean? Like, if if you're gonna be the center of attention for that moment, be it. Like, you put yourself there, and now don't shy away. So that's what I'm trying to tell myself more often. Like, you're here, so I just like got there, did my poetry, and then walked out of the stage. Like, hey.
Right, just walk off. Right?
Yeah. And like, damn. Like, I need to soak it all in a little more, you know?
And so that's the next part that we're going to drop the gem on people today is your core product, right? That's the second part of being an artist and like getting money and developing your art into a business, is like, what is the thing that people are complimenting you on? Don't deviate from it. You do one good picture, right? And then you get the good picture, and then that motivates you, right? Because you gained a little security in yourself. They're like, oh, they like this picture. Look at the comments. They're coming in. So then you deviate. You say, let me put this video up now. Or let me put up this new thing, because I felt the confidence from the thing that works, and you want to pour it over into another area that's not so secure yet, when really you just need to just double down on what worked. You know what I mean? And sometimes we want to feel it all over when it's really just in our hands at the moment. You know what I mean? You know, when you get warm and you can feel the warmth, so then you try to like cradle your whole body next to the thing that's warm. It's like, nah, you got to like create more of the same environment that made your hands warm, not get closer to the small thing that made your hands warm. Create more of that environment. So like, when I do a good performance thing, I recognize that's what people wanted to see from me. I wanted to do a whole bunch of other stuff. I wanted to present a whole bunch of other versions of myself. But it's like,
you don't want to be known just as the performer or the rapper.
I didn't want to just be known as that. Exactly. I did not want that. but because there's a difference between convincing someone and then persuading them. Because persuasion is you already want to do it. I'm showing you how you should do it with me, right? So it's like if you're looking for your favorite rapper, I'm just persuading you that I'm your favorite rapper. If I'm convincing you that I'm your favorite rapper, that means you already chose somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're just looking for your favorite rapper, so you don't know who that is, and then you stumble on me, and then I just reinforce that, right? Like you said, step into that spotlight. If I'm saying, I'm an owner, I own my music, fuck that place, fuck this, and I'm just giving up all my real energy, and then somebody's in the crowd like, yeah, I feel like that too, right? It's just like, now we go to the next venue and do the same thing. We don't deviate. We don't come the next time and say, all right, well, because this is, this kind of venue with these kind of people, I'm going to come differently now.
Yeah.
Like, nah, like I used to say, I'll leave it at this point right here with the core product. My brand is rebuilding the black family because my life was torn apart by drugs, poverty, and the streets. So it's like my brand is speaking about how to implement actions and solutions so that we can repatriate our culture where I'm from. So the first thing that comes with that is like talking about things that make people uncomfortable. So sometimes I go in predominantly white settings and be like, I don't want to do this play. I don't want to do this piece. I don't want to come off as the angry black man in this venue. Yeah. But it's like there are people who want to aid and be more informed about what I'm actually experiencing. Like they might want to learn something about me or what we go through, and this might be the opportunity for them to learn it. So if I just sit back and say, I'm going to do my sunflower dance today and not really give them the struggle of what I'm going through, they might not get it. Like, so that's like staying true to that core product, even when it might not seem like that's what you should be selling, but it's like, that's what's selling though, right? iPhone ain't switching up. They ain't selling triangle phones. Like they selling the phone the way it look.
But you can also, there's the counter argument that you can also, like it happens a lot in TikTok. When someone goes viral off one video, they want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And at one point it gets like old. So you got, like, how do you keep it fresh?
Right.
How do you keep it like, oh shit, like he's doing the same thing but different. Like, like still good, like still fresh.
Nah, that's true.
I'm
happy you asked that question. Because the thing about it is, I was going to bird feed them, but let's give it to them, right? That's where the premium value product comes into play, right? So it's like, I'm in a room full of guys with dreadlocks. We all smoke weed. We all have a similar story now. So how do I stand out? Well, I got a live band. I have a cameraman, right?
Yeah.
It's the premium value product now. It's like, how do we give everybody that same experience? Because they're going to spend it. What if they were going to spend 10 with me, 10 with him, 10 with him, 10 with him because we all seem similar? Now, how do I get those other 9 people to spend it with me on a $100 product now?
Damn.
Because they're going to spend it. But how do you get them to spend it with you, right? So it's like you could pay all 10 of us $10 or you could give me 100 and I'll give you 10 T-shirts. Right? You could give me 100 and I'll show up and everybody's going to get this free food, or I'm going to pass out weed. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go that extra mile and I'm going to be premium in the space that seems similar. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's at least how I've been able to take a $10 situation, right? So then we turned it into a core product value, right? $10. That's the core product. Then if I was able to have this conversation with you and make $10, then I just generate more leads, right? That's the first thing I said. We generate more leads. So now I get 2 of you in a room, 2 people who want to give me $10, right? So then I say, all right, we got 2 people in a room who want to give me $10. Now we move to the premium value offer. What keeps y'all in the room? All right, well, I have a $20 offer that gets you more of me now, right? So now that I have you invested in me at the highest rate, the last thing that we're going to give them today, and then we're going to build more personally, like, is the continuity offer, right? The reoccurring offer.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, I got you to get the premium. I got you to check me out for the first time. You got the product, the core product. We generating more leads. You told your friend, now they came. Now I'm selling y'all both the $40 T-shirt package now. How do I get you to just subscribe to my YouTube and now you streaming my shit? You subscribe to my YouTube. You're watching my daily Gemini Gems, our podcast. You know what I'm saying? Our music videos. That's the continuity offer. That's the reoccurring offer. Now every time I put something up, notification on your screen. Now I'm streaming. So that's a very subsequent residual income, right? But imagine if you were doing something like that with a fan club or like a Patreon. You getting $39 every month from someone because they getting an exclusive version of you that's not on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once we package all those 4 things together, because businesses are only three core functions. Like people try to complicate business a lot, and I'm learning all of this from the streets, bro. Like,
Yeah, no.
you know what I mean? Once I came from the
you
streets,
dropping gems.
yeah, bro, we dropping gems. It's like once I came from the streets, and then I implemented the vocabulary, right? That's all it is. It's just vocabulary. You know, they call it jargon. You know what I mean? So once you understand the vocabulary, it's all the same thing. The 3 main core functions of business, right? And then those are our 4 strategies on how to scale that business up.
Yeah.
Right? That was our 4 strategies. But the 3 core functions of business, there's no, if somebody else, you're complicating it. You can maybe be all 3 of these functions, but at the core of it, you can only be 3 functions in business. There's money management, which is, okay, you get a lot of money, so I'm gonna manage what you're doing with that money, and that's how I make my money, right?
Yeah.
There's marketing, which is, I see that you got a good product, but I'm gonna introduce you to more people so I can make money off you making more money, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like,
And then the
for
third
example,
one, before you continue,
go,
the
keep
third
going.
one was innovation. I see the space, but I'm gonna do something different because I see you not doing it. Like
that's
other than
Netflix, that's Uber, you know,
that, yeah,
Airbnb.
that's it. Like, and they killing the space, right?
They're innovating.
That's it. So it's like with those 3 functions, you might be able to do all 3, but you need to be doing 1, at least. You know what I mean? So like what I do with hip hop, I'm an innovator. You know what I mean?
Like
I'm talking through about some different shit. Ain't nobody trying to talk about the shit I'm talking about, the way I'm talking about it, how I'm going to talk about it. They're not going to come from the back of the room. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to have the camera out at the same time. They're not going to have the merch on.
I don't know if, like you say you're a Gemini. One thing, like I don't know how much you can put behind like astrology or whatever, but me being one thing that I pride myself in is I'm creative. Like I see things differently. Like you were creative with that. Like how can I sell something like tonight? Like what can I do? Like you think on the spot, you improv. I didn't think you like the night before, like planning your whole day. You just like, I'm gonna do it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like connected to your creativities, like to your creative nature. And I don't know if every other horoscope has that, but that's one thing about me is like I like seeing things differently, and you know, adding my own twist to it. So that's what I saw from you that day.
And that's why I ended up coming there, right? Because my goal was to introduce myself to new people, right? It's like you said, very intentional. Like there's a parts that I've been working on over years, all my life. I've been working up to this point kind of thing. But then like you said, some things are like, it really takes me down to the last very moment. Like, damn, do I want to go? Do I want to do this? And that was one of them days where I was like, I almost ain't go because just the distance. So when I got there and I was able to talk to you about what I was talking to you about, it just about collaborating. And now we're here doing this. Everything has to be super intentional. I don't have no fake conversations. Like you said, I was sitting in the back of the room, kind of just soaking it up. Because at the end of the day, it's about my brand. It's about the mission. I have a sentiment that I say, God gives me my assignments. And as long as I'm in alignment with those assignments, I have the ultimate source. Because God want me to get it done.
That's
so it's
true.
like I just had to stay in alignment with the assignment. And so I went there to impact people's lives, be a part of something greater than myself, and here we are. You know what I mean? So everything else will come. Like everything else gonna come.
They say that good luck catches people at work. Like a little bit of luck comes from people that put in the work.
Yep.
So
You gotta be prepared. I heard something similar like that. You have to be prepared to be lucky.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So you definitely got to work like that side of business and that side like that you learn from the streets and all that, and then into like a lot of artists lack. So, and some of them don't even want to make that like learn that side of things.
Yeah, they don't even want to learn it.
Yeah, man. So, like, I'm still learning how to be what like you said like what's the premium content that you want to give
the premium
people.
value offer. Yeah.
Like the selling part, I was a horrible seller. I work at one of those like different pyramid like Herbalife, whatever, like
Yeah, I know what you're talking
things
about.
like that. and you gotta sell all these things, get people to sign up and all that. I'm like, when you're not behind a product, then like I'm not that good at selling something I'm not behind.
Me either. Yeah,
you know?
I used to work at T-Mobile, and
Yeah.
like when I believed in like myself to sell cell phones, like because that was one of my dreams. I was like, I want to work at a cell phone store. Like, so once I got there, that ambition fueled me. The part that deterred me was not seeing that. Cause I'm telling you, man, I don't want to be long-winded, but like I was literally like outside trying to survive on some shit. So like I would see people as modern day citizens, like when they would go to work and participate in getting rent and, you know, just being acclimated on a societal normal level. So when I worked at T-Mobile, that was like my bliss of I get to do this now. I get to live that life that I see everybody, you know, you use your debit card and you get your gas and you wake up and you drive and you go get your Dunkin' Donuts. Like I wanted to be a part of that. And when I realized that people didn't appreciate that, it broke me. Cause it's like people would degrade and depreciate the way I was living and tell me to acquire this. And then I got in that environment and ain't nobody appreciate that shit either. So they didn't not only appreciate my experience, they didn't appreciate their own. So it made me more disinterested in working in that environment because I'm like, man, I thought y'all loved this shit. The way y'all was talking shit about what I was doing, but it was like everybody was just like, I just want to do the bare minimum. And it's like, I still remember T-Mobile's owned by a man called Tom Ledger. I used to be at work every day, like, man, we better thank Tom Ledger. You know what I'm saying? Like this was his idea. And he made this idea available for all of us to be able to pay our rent and buy our stuff. So it's like the entrepreneur in me always sees the business of it, bro. Like I've been an owner. I've been investing in my own product. I've been talking to the distributor. We were packaging it, weighing it out. Like I was always on that side since a little kid. So I appreciate the Steve Jobs. I appreciate the Mark Zuckerberg. I appreciate that stuff because it's like they gave us something that we could all be a part of.
They basically made their vision a reality. And what gives that is, like you said, business capitalism. Like a lot of people want to knock down capitalism. And I used to be one of those people that used to be like, oh, maybe we should do socialism and all that. But one thing about capitalism is like it welcomes innovation. And like we wouldn't have a Uber. We wouldn't have all the technology we have today.
Nothing, bro. Like
maybe maybe not everything that,
it's not everything. Yeah.
Capitalism has to be bad. There's some bad sides to it.
Yeah.
Of course, making money can become like you lose track of why you were doing what you were doing, and it all becomes about money. But for example, Jeff Bezos, I don't know if he's just a fucking billionaire. He's in a race with Elon Musk now.
Right.
You get to a point where, I mean, he created something amazing. Like
it's
everyone uses it.
Come on, man. It's an amazing product. Right.
Innovation.
And so like, let's talk about that part. Cause I want to, you know what I mean? I've been talking about gaming people up and giving up all this information. And so it's like, now you've watched something, you got your information. If you want to learn more about me, you know what I mean? Stay tuned. Right. So like, something I want to introduce is like what you said. That was the hardest part for me, was making what I loved about money, right? So like I already had the innate specialty in knowing how to make the money, but the reason why, going back to the brand, the reason why I started a business is because I wanted family. The institution of family is a business. So it's like I was looking for trust in that environment. I was looking for loyalty. I was looking for support. I was looking for education. I was looking for community. You know what I mean? So it was like that would conflict with my margins. Because it's like, you don't want to boss around somebody you love. You don't want to tell them don't come back if you're late. You don't want to dock their pay. You don't want to have to subjugate them to pay for, you know what I mean, the things that they love to do. So it was a conflict of interest for me at first. You know, I had my own physical location for 3 years now, and I've had my personal brand developing for 5 years. And the hardest thing to do is tell people no. That's I'm a super pushover, bro. Like I'll know the business sucks, but because that's somebody I love a lot or I like them a lot, I'll just say yeah. Like
I don't want no business with you.
No, I want to do the business, but it's bad. It's bad business. Like this has no potential of being ROI positive. This has no ability of being like sustainable. But because I love you, I'm gonna say yes because I have the resource, and it's hard to tell you no. And I know you don't have the resource because I come from not having the resource.
You know what I realized from all that? Like
it's like survivor guilt.
Like a lot of people are gonna come to you, and you said a lot of people, like there's gonna be a lot of rappers in one room, and then after that, the people that stand out are the people that are doing the legwork. Like you probably want to come here if you didn't see like I'm already got a few podcasts out there. You know, I'm like do something behind it. Of course, I don't have like, the views that I want, but hopefully with TJ here, he's
we gonna blow this up, right? We about to take it to the next level, right?
Yeah, man. It's back to.
I mean, you showed up with your work at Slick Talk. I could see it. You had it in your hand, right?
Exactly.
So it's like it's that part. Like when somebody can see and recognize, I'm like, oh, he invested in himself, right? So I took you seriously from that point, like. And you could have been like, oh, this is my man's camera. This is not mine. I still would have appreciated that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The honesty, right? Those are still going back to those things that I'm looking for. So
right.
the thing that I'm practicing now is what I'm doing right now, which is creating my own personal relationships and then integrating those into the business, but communicating it that way, right? Like being very intentional about like, would you like to be a part of this business venture I'm doing? And understanding, because I would neglect. I always had like, it was the switch. Remember we talked about the switch earlier, right?
Yeah.
So one switch would be dejected business owner guy, please don't get to know me personally. And then the other side would be like, oh man, let's smoke a blunt and talk about like what's going on at the house. So like, I wouldn't be able, sometimes I would neglect that people would come, for example, like I'd have an open mic with several different varieties of people in the room, strangers, mutual friends, all of that stuff. And then people who are just particularly looking for business opportunities. Some of my friends would be looking for business opportunities, right? And we're in a professional environment, so I'm in a professional mode and I'm not pouring into them like I would off the clock. So that would strain out our personal relationships because they'd be like, man, why TJ treat me like this today? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I've been very intentional about mapping all of that stuff out now where I'm going to just build out my business from my actual family. Like I'm going to get a girl, we're going to settle down. I'm going to institute the business through her and then attract people who see and appreciate that model of ownership. You know, the trust, the loyalty, everything that's in the brand is going to be precipitated from the product itself, which is me, instead of having to try to sell it and, you know, like recultivate the mindsets of people. That's like school at that point. That's what I started realizing. I'm like, oh, I got to take y'all to college. I don't have the resources to re-educate you. That's why I like Rec Philly. Like, shouts out to Rec Philly because they actually took the time to invest in the resources and the workshops and the time and the access and the facility to, like, if you don't have any idea what you're doing, you can come here and you can forget your shit and it's here and they take care of you. Like, my facility ain't that well built. If you forget your shit, you gotta go back home and go get it. Like, it's gonna be a fucked up day. Like, so that's why I always appreciate like being able to have real relationships in my art shit. Because if you forget your shit and like we have to go an hour over, bro, I'll sit here and I'll wait for you, right? Like if we've built that trust. It's like, man, we got to ride back and go get it. Man, I got 5 on it. Fuck it. Like, I want to get this interview done. Like, I'm willing to take, that was going back to the effort thing we were talking about. Like, I'm into the effort right now. Like, that we are both mutually invested in the same thing. Like, shouts out to y'all on Instagram, too. My gram going crazy.
Damn, that's dope. I even thought about that, like going live. I need to do
I'm
more of that.
To you. I got you.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it.
Switch it over to my man. Shouts out to my man. You heard?
Out here? Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. And yeah, so that goes back to something that Kanye West said. Everybody hating on him, you know, but he said that you should see yourself as you need like an artist, a rapper needs a CEO, like he's a company and like he has like he's a business. Like, you know, Jay-Z said that.
I'm a businessman.
Yeah, like you definitely gotta think different and like the best rappers out there, the best people out there, like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, you see him with their fam sometimes. You see him with their homies.
Baby Keem is his cousin.
You know what I mean?
That's his actual cousin, right?
Like they brought people with them, and they're eating too. That they're not just he's not just feeding them. They like he taught them how to fish.
Yeah,
you know
come on, that part. We're not just feeding them. We teaching them how to fish. We're making your art a business. That's the whole part of it. It's like that.
Like you gotta need a photographer, you gotta need a videographer, you gotta need like an audio engineer. I'm like, all right, like maybe you don't know you don't know exactly how to do it. Don't worry, you gotta learn along the way. Like we're all learning along the way, right? Yeah, exactly. And so it's like
But you just said that essential part. Yeah, you engineering my stuff, but you're so good. Everybody wants you to engineer their stuff now. So now you're a fisherman. If you can only eat when I want to record an album, that's not a good job.
Nah.
You're back at work now.
Yeah.
You're only getting money when I schedule you.
I like that. That's dope.
You know what I mean? So like, that's what I want to even what I was talking to you about before we turned the mic on is like, I want to you were like you want to start moving professionally in a certain trajectory, and the first thing I said is, all right, me, right? Like we're not gonna oh man, maybe one day, or oh, you'll get there, and I see you, and it's like if I hear you and I see you and I say that I want the same thing, then I'm willing to make the investment, right? I want you to become an asset, because if you appreciate over time, then you make me look smart. You make me look smart for fucking with you.
So how do you but it's a journey? Like you think like you gotta get to like the person you are today, like, or you're like, yeah, it took a while to get there, or like,
yeah, okay. That's a great point, right? And forgive me when I say this, right? Because I don't know how your audience works, but there might be just that one person who needs to hear this.
Mm-hmm.
You usually are 99% right about your plan and 100% wrong about the people that you're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
So like you don't plan something out intending to be incorrect. Like if your toilet broke right now, you're gonna make, I could say, a precise judgment on how to get it fixed, right? Now, when you run into an obstacle, what's gonna happen? Like, all right, it costs $800 to fix your toilet, and now the first thing you're gonna want to do is like deviate from that, try to find a cheaper way to get it done, and that's where the problems are gonna occur, right?
Good point.
When you just call Home Depot, give them their fucking money, it would be simply accomplished. So it's like when you deviate from the plan, that's where you hurt yourself. So for me, it's trusting myself was the hardest part. Every person can do exactly what I'm saying if they just begin to trust themselves and not try to like lie to themselves about trying to get it accomplished faster. Oh, I seen it on Instagram. They got it done this way. I shouldn't have to work at that Burlington for 2 years and get it that way. I shouldn't have to, because that person was able to drop a SpongeBob sample on top of a hip hop beat. You know what I'm saying? Like that attitude is what's killing us in this artistry. So it's like trusting yourself is important, because a lot of the dependency or the trust that we've seen or look for in others, it starts with you being able to provide it to yourself so that other people can align with it as well, because you got the thing that you need, which is inside you. But if you keep offering it to someone who don't eat it or is allergic to it, then you're just wasting your time. You know what I mean? So that's what I've just now recently learned that, where it's like I've come into contact with thousands of people. If I would have recognized I was selling the right thing to the wrong people, man. So that's basically what I want to like condense for everybody, is like introducing you to the right people so that the right thing works immediately, man. Right.
It's like Van Gogh painting may not like talk to you, but it might talk to someone else, you know.
And it did. And it did. Like it really did. And it's like, if you would have showed, even to this day, I don't like Van Gogh paintings. Like I heard Steve Harvey say, Steve Harvey said he hasn't bought more than 4 hip hop albums. He said if hip hop required me to like it, then it wouldn't exist. Right? Like if Van Gogh required me to like his paintings, he wouldn't be shit. So it's like, you gotta stop thinking about the me's in relation to the Van Goghs. You get what I'm saying? Like when it comes to art, you gotta focus on who really fucking with you.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's true. There's always someone that is looking for like, damn, like it's so much music out there, but you know, you're not gonna listen to all of it. It's whatever, you know, like whatever touches you, you know. We all have this thing that's inside of us where like we see a painting, something about a painting, something about art that, you know, just like we have to look at it like, wow, this is amazing. Same thing with music. And so as long as you make art, like either by singing, performing, like film, someone out there is gonna
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I tried to paint once. Everyone was telling me like, "Oh, keep doing it. I love it. Yes, the colors." I was like, "This shit sucks." I was like, "I'm not a painter."
Yeah, I think it's something that I
There's some
outsource.
things you just want to do that you just
I
shouldn't.
feel like I don't have the patience for it.
That's what it is. Me too.
Yeah.
Like I have a concept in my mind that's
Yeah.
on fire, but it's like me actually like I just found out the other day different brushes like do different strokes, and I'm like, oh, I get what that phrase now. I guess like different brushes for different strokes. I didn't get that at first.
Levels to his shit.
Right.
And everything. That's why I tell people, like, you gotta suck at something at the beginning, man. But
Right.
you only gotta get better. And it's about sticking to it. Like, from all the books that I read, is, resiliency, consistency. One of my favorite quotes from Bruce Lee, if I fear the man that practices one kick 1,000 times, instead of them.
Ooh, that one ran down my shoulder.
Instead of
Wow.
instead of a man that practices 1,000 kicks one time.
Yeah, I seen where that. Yeah, that.
Yeah. It goes back to the karate movie. Like, he was like, he was teaching Jaden Smith, like he was just like doing the same shit over and over. And he was like, "Why are you teaching me all this?" Like he was just picking up like stuff from the ground, like laundry. I don't know if you.
I've never seen that version. I seen the OG version.
Yeah,
like with the dude who was beating up the.
Yeah, it was just wax in,
Wax on,
wax
wax
off.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
same
right.
concept.
Yeah.
Same concept, repetition. Like you got. It's okay if, like, be your worst critic, but it's, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, oh man, it's like I'm jumping all over the place because it reminded me of Kanye's West like documentary where he had so much trust in himself before he even blew up.
I've never watched that either.
Yeah, it's.
I'm gonna watch that tonight because you're like the 11th person who's referenced.
I didn't think I was gonna like it. I was just like, what is
I knew
this
I was
about?
gonna like it, but I didn't. I'm always very big on being like interpreting things for myself, right? So it's like I wanted
Same.
to wait it out some. Before,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? I'm happy you understand what I'm saying because I didn't complete a sentence. Just
No, this is because that's what happened with me in the new Spider-Man movie.
stuff like that. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, it's like I just have to wait it out some.
Yeah.
And I'll consume it, get my own like interpretation because I'm easily influenced. I gotta be honest with myself. Like if you don't like it and I want you to like me, I'll be like, yeah, I don't like it either. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like I have to be very intentional about how I consume things.
That's why I haven't heard the new Pusha T album. I'm like, everybody's saying it's hot, but I don't want to ruin it. And like, I'm gonna listen to it later, like whenever like it's not popping anymore.
That you're right. You don't want to wait too long. Ah,
Yeah.
damn it. Like it's like right. It's that sweet spot. Like I'm feeling that way about Snowfall right now. There's this show everyone
Oh,
calls.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't watch it completely, but I'm like, if I don't watch this in like the next 2 months,
You never gonna watch it.
it's not even that I'm gonna watch. It's not gonna be relevant to anyone else enough to talk about. Like no one's gonna care no more.
That's what happened with Game of Thrones. I never got into it.
And now, right? It's like I definitely.
I tried to
missed out
watch
on
the
that one,
first
too.
episode. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Right? What is this? Right? What is this?
I ain't like it that much, man.
And it's like, you know what it is? Sometimes you need that. If you need that external validation, it's probably not that good. That's me. That's my personal opinion. Like if it has to be externally validated.
The thing is, you're not a group thinker. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. It's not
You
that
like
good.
making your own decisions, and sometimes, like that there's always outside influence. So if everyone's telling you, "Oh, go listen to that album, you're gonna like it," you're not gonna just go to it because like you know yourself, you know that you might like it because everyone's liking it, or
Yeah,
maybe
but,
you
yeah.
feel bad because like, why am I supposed to like this again?
That is the other part. You're right. I never conceived that question in my mind so simply. It's like you make yourself feel bad for not liking it as much as everybody else. Damn.
Yeah, because then you come off as a hater.
Yeah, I never.
That's one thing
thought of that.
I mentioned before. Like, it's a thing where you can be a hard critic. Like when it comes to movies, even music. I'm gonna be honest. I was never a big Meek Mill fan,
Meek Mill.
Yeah, Meek
okay,
Mill.
Yeah.
but like some of his tracks are fucking fire. Like
Yeah.
Levels to his shit.
Yeah, I love Levels.
Dreams of Nightmare. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But besides that, it was a song here and
It's
there.
a
But
miss for you, right?
yeah, like he's always sounds like he's yelling. I'm like, dude, like.
Calm down.
I don't know. Like Kendrick Lamar, some artists are just. I used to not like J. Cole, and now like his lyrics went like just.
He got better.
He got
Yeah,
way
he got
better.
better. I'll give you. Yeah, that's something people don't talk about often. J. Cole got better. No one ever wants to talk
So
about
a
that.
new level.
Yeah, he got better. And so like
he wasn't as good as he is now.
Nah, yeah, hell no, he wasn't. And so that was like when you just started mentioning like having taste. The thing that
It's taste,
it's like about having taste, and something about taste is that if you want to be a taste maker, it's important to be aware of where people's palate are at, right? Like if you're at a restaurant, if you're a cook, like you want to know what other people like.
Yeah.
I think for my brand specifically, I'm a tastemaker. I understand what people in my niche like. So it's not super important for me to recognize what everybody else appreciates. It's important for me to dig deep and find the new stuff that I know people that I influence, what they're looking for. So that sometimes puts me in like a bubble, right? Like it puts me in a bubble. Yeah, it puts me in a little bubble. So that's why shouts out to like people like yourself, people like Slick Talk, people like Art Love, like everybody who invites me out for stuff. That's the opportunities I take to really absorb and introduce myself to things that are new. Because like you said, you kind of suck at stuff at first. You practice it, you get a little bit better, and then that's the true sentiment of growth. And I like to try to keep a little bit of humility in my sauce because that's like something that we all can.
Yeah, you have to.
We can all adapt that.
That's true. You can't get away from that, man. So I mean, so what's your main? Like, you don't want to be known as a rapper. What do you want to be? Like, what other sides of you do you like to explore? Like, you want to like put out there for people?
Well, the artist part of me is like a phase, right? Like this is a phase of me learning myself and being able to like document my experiences in my community so that people can look back on it, right? I talked earlier about being like repatriating the African diaspora and helping heal trauma and, build back my community. So that's part of why I created a media platform called Newports and News, right? And Newports and News, I'm raised in Newport News, Virginia. And one thing I recognized was that there wasn't any stories being told about the communities that we grew up in. And even just like the limited perspective, like let's say people are touching in or telling any stories about it, it's a super limited perspective. So I just aimed to rehumanize essentially like people in poverty at mass, because it's not just about black people. Like we all are American now. We've all been amalgamated and we all have experiences where it's like we have experiences that affect one another now, right? And we have the choice to be intentional about that. So like I'm trying to rehumanize like poverty in the sense of like how everybody that's not impoverished views it in the media, because people, and that's, like you say, it goes back to capitalism. Some people are intentionally aimed towards making poverty look like a product or like a what do they call, a subculture that you can profit from, and that's fine, right? Like you shouldn't think of anything of that, but we don't see how unintentionally we utilize that subculture or those people who are limited in their opportunities or education or experiences and environment. We capitalize on them first, and then we don't really seek to, like you said, use the resources that we have to innovate. I heard somebody say on a cartoon, they said, why did we spend all our money on spaceships to go somewhere else when we could have spent the money on spaceships to fix where we were at? You know what I mean? But it's like when you know that somebody's just trying to escape the problems that they created, that's what you have to look at the situation as. So that's why my media platform is like about just not, it's not about banging on nobody. We don't gotta like talk about what the bad people are doing because that just gives them more promotion. It's about just highlighting the people that are not being highlighted. It's that simple.
Ooh,
that's just
I
it.
like that.
Like we just highlight the people that just ain't being highlighted, and that's what Newports and News is.
Okay.
Oh, because you got overlooked, that's why I'm gonna interview you.
Exactly.
It's just that simple.
I like that. Like, I feel like you can even like get like a lot of knowledge from like a homeless person, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, they got all the L's. Like they got all the L's in that lexicon, right? And then they got some W's in there because, it's just like there's so much gems and stuff like that. And like, so we start with art and entertainment because that's the scene that I'm in. But once I transition, like you said, from being a rapper, quote unquote, because if you would have talked to me 10 years ago, because I'm turning 29 on Tuesday. If you would have talked to me when I was 19, I'd have laughed at a rapper. I would have laughed at the whole idea of it. It's a corny concept. Why would you run around and do that, right? So at 29, I'm like, all right. I heard a sentiment from The Game. He said when he was and when he was my age, he said being 40 and rapping was corny, right? You shouldn't be that old.
He
And now
did
he's
rap about
40.
that.
Yeah, now he's 40 and he's
Yeah.
rapping. So it's like I'm set out to put myself in a position where I'm like, after doing all of this rap, we gonna be practicing utilizing the media platform to give other opportunities to people
Yeah.
that don't have them, and
Yeah.
then that's gonna be the transition. You know what I mean? Fully business.
That's funny that you said that about the game, because I feel that a lot of these like rappers that have been in the game for so long, I feel like they are kind of like pressured to want to retire.
Yeah.
Like look at Logic. Is that like, I mean, he's not like a rapper that's been around for a while, but he's
But
like,
he-
oh, I'm gonna drop my last album. Like they feel like they
Yeah.
done enough, but then they always end up coming back. Like this
Yeah.
is what I do.
Right.
Like
It's your life.
the game's still going, Nas still going.
I mean, he was cultured from the same environment I was from, which was you're past your usefulness, right? That's how it's
Yeah.
that like I promise you, when I was 19, I didn't have a vision of myself past 25 because the narrative is 20. Black people, black men,
Whoa.
you're not gonna make it out past 25. So I wasn't even conceiving an idea
Shit.
of myself beyond that.
It's like porn stars, bro.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's
No,
just like
yeah.
porn stars, right? You know what I mean? You're not
No,
even
you-
conceiving it.
Only
right?
a few make it to 40.
40. Look, so it's like rappers are the same way. It's like you don't say that to Bruce Springsteen or Madonna or
Yeah.
anybody. It's like it's just hip hop. It's like we start to get into this bag of like we've overstayed our welcome. We don't understand how to practice the business element of like I'm a genie in a bottle. Like just keep performing that shit. People are gonna fucking still listen to that shit. But it's like we want to feel useful in everything that we do, and then it's like that feeling is like back at what I was saying. I was trying to feel everything in my business too. You know, there was this crazy. There's this going back to the game. There was this thing he said where he said, "I was willing to die about beefing with 50 Cent because I thought we were going to be the new Tupac and Biggie, and I was going to be forever immortalized and finally appreciated for what my life was.
Yeah.
I thought hip hop was real. 50 Cent was trying to teach me how to practice a business. That's why he's a
Whoa.
mogul now." But it's like I wanted to die for hip hop because I thought it was real. I thought that was where the true appreciation from the audience would come from. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like it's our mentality. Hip hop
Exactly.
artist mentality is the direct result of being in poverty. So it's not, you're not looking at how you can be an asset and appreciate over time and be an institution and then grow into a company, and like you're not thinking like that. You're thinking, how do I be entertaining to people until I'm not? Like, so that's what I'm saying, bro. This me being a musician and me using your platform right now is super important because I understand that I'm gonna be able to communicate this to people who they trust me because they
Yeah.
know where I come from and they
Yeah.
know I was in the same situation as them, but they're not gonna trust people outside because I was the same way. When I got into a work environment, I looked around at people, I'm like, damn, this is why you couldn't give me $10?
Yeah.
Because you had to buy extra crab legs with your cinnamon buns today. It's like there's a level of like overconsumption that this thing can breed. You know what I mean? Even in the rap, you see rappers, they got diamond chains and they got the glasses and 50
yeah.
shirts, and it's like you get into that lifestyle and you start to let yourself go because you're like, you think that's what people appreciate. And they do appreciate it, but then you lose yourself, and then you know what I'm saying, you don't always appreciate yourself in the long run and all of that. So that's what I learned from listening to the game when he said that, was like, clearly now he doesn't want to die in a romantic shootout with fucking 50 Cent like he learned. But it would have been unfortunate at that time to really have like witnessed that, because that's all he knew.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he had an idea of how to make that a more meaningful situation. Like,
Exactly. Like detaching yourself from it and looking at it like 50 Cent.
yeah, he was able to do that, right?
Yeah.
And he's the one who got shot 9 times. So it's like, it's a
yeah.
mentality thing. It's like a sliver. It's like a literally like, it's intangible. And I think for me, the intangible part, because I have a song right now, and if we can listen, I know we was gonna talk about
Yeah.
it.
I'll connect to my phone actually.
I got a song out right now, and this isn't the one I'm gonna play, but I got a song out right now that talks about just the mentality of learning how to separate that trauma. I did it at the John Slick Talk. It's like learning how to like escape that trauma
Yeah.
from things you didn't receive. You know what I mean? Because 50 Cent is someone who was able to like step away from similar experiences and just turn that switch on and say, well, you know what? I have a different idea about how to do it. And so that's what separates us. I really think that that's just what separates us as artists. Like you were saying it too. Like some of us don't even consider that shit. You know what I mean? So I'm a I guess step into my spotlight and just accept that this is what I'm here to do. And then everything else will fall through as well. You know what I mean?
But you're not just that. You're also like other parts of you that like you're not just another black man trying to rap.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm not. I liked how you said that. Right. That's exactly what this is not. Exactly.
it goes back to like you can straight, like they say, you can straight kind of 1,000 times. Like you can deliver whatever you have in you. It can be delivered through music, through art, through painting. You know, like
books. We can have conversations like this.
Like 50 Cent writing books now. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't just you don't just have to pigeonhole yourself to I'm a rapper and like this is the only way I'm gonna make this is the only way I can express myself. I'm like, no, there's other ways to express yourself. That's not maybe you have to learn that side as well.
You just gotta learn that side, right? I was reading my horoscope the other day and it was like I have a tendency in my personality at times where if it doesn't feel like people like things that I do, I'll just hide that version of myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, you know, so it's just about, like you said, learning how to just truly trust and invest in that side. So like the song that I have on my album is called Playin. And I did it with my producer. His name is Smooth Waffle.
Where can people find it? Where can people find your music?
It's on Bandcamp. Everything right now is on Bandcamp because once again, just going back to holding and controlling and everything that we want to know about our analytics and our money and stuff. I'm gonna put it out on streaming platforms later this year. But I have this cheat code coming on the 24th where all the music gonna be available on streaming platforms through what's that called? Social media though. Right? So you'll be able to use it through your reels and your TikToks and things like that. Oh, you know what I mean? So you'll be able to consume it from that point of view and use it just for your own entertainment purposes. But like the song Playin that I have coming out.
You think I can find it on SoundCloud? Where can I find it?
I have a secret link to it on SoundCloud, but if you go to my Bandcamp,
I don't know if I got Bandcamp on my phone.
It's on the web browser. You don't even need the app. So like when you go to my album that's for pre-sale, one of the free songs I have available is Playin. And so the sentiment behind that song is me talking a little bit about how I was, because that's a lot of the things you asked me today. I get into the intricate details of it when I get into the music, because that's when we got more time. You know what I mean? And you can run it back and really get into everything that I'm saying. So I want to, this song was just about how I was able to make this actually work from coming from Virginia. You know what I mean? Like,
you speaking your life, your journey through your music.
Yeah.
So I definitely check you out on SoundCloud. I'm following you there. I don't know if you're on other platforms, but I know you put that out there.
That's like one of my other main platforms is SoundCloud. Like,
so you want me to play one of your tracks?
Yeah, you can go for Playin. That's the only one available.
Playin?
Yeah.
See if it plays.
So how does this work? Like, they hear it on the podcast? They still hear us?
They can hear it like here.
Oh, word.
You writing that shit? All of my life I had to fight. What is you saying? All that I know is green and white. Man, why is you playing? Running away from blue and red. What is you saying? Why is you playing?
Definitely likes the beat, bro.
Running it up and getting it bag, man. What is we saying? They lying, they raps and they trap on the ground. What is we saying? They saying they gang, but they never around. What is we saying? Hold up, why is we playing? Yo, I came to Philly just to make a life. I lost all my friends and I made up my mind. They love to hate and they make it known. They spit on your grave and they plotted your show. We owning our shit and continue to grow. I came all this way just from trapping the O. I left my home just to follow my dreams. From roaches and rats and these bitches that scheme. And why is we playing? Damn, hop in the trap, get in the bag, my mans. Man, why is we playing? All these queens smoking this green. Man, what is you saying? I'm living my dreams, it's me and my team. Man, why is you playing? Bitch, what is we saying? Hop in the trap, get in my bag, my mans. Why is you playing? All of these queens smoking this green. Man, what is we saying?
Living my dreams, me and my team, man. Why is you playing? Bitch, what is you saying? Damn.
Lenny broke his pen to write a verse, just to write a hearse. Took a life out, took a life out.
I got a lot of followers.
I don't feel my hurt.
Hell yeah. All right. That's a piece of Playin.
Right, yeah.
Hey, that
That's
was
the
hot.
first time I've ever had that done.
That was hot. Hell yeah. Hey, and we gotta put this out there on YouTube, but we can also remember I was telling you about NFTs.
Yeah.
You can also put the podcast on it as an NFT. You don't necessarily have to do an NFT, but like put up like some shit doesn't need to be heard by everyone. Like I feel like if you put it public, like it's too offensive for some people.
Yeah, bro, I be almost getting. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother podcast, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
I feel like you gotta start
my community
making
guidelines on fucking gosh.
like make it available for people that want to hear it. Like $1. Like here you go.
Yeah.
Like if you sell something 5,000 times for $1, that's $5,000.
Just like what we said, the premium value offer, right? So if you
Yeah.
can stream it for less than a penny, like you just said, what's $1? But
Yeah.
that's 1,000% increase on the point of sale. That's what a premium value offer is. It's like if I sold you the album for 10, that's why the concert's 100.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the premium value offer.
Yeah, you get
You getting
me
it
live.
Yeah,
Hell yeah,
you know, so
man. I think we're gonna have to start wrapping it up pretty soon, man. This is like almost an hour of gems. Like you said.
export,
You came
imports.
prepared.
You know what I mean?
Definitely exporting this. We're gonna package it, put it in the ship and have it delivered everywhere. All right, Terrence, man. Thank you for coming through, man.
What's up,
Appreciate
bro?
this. All right, till next time.